Glendale, Alberta, there's a giant peasant-cup. It's the biggest Easter egg that anybody ever saw. The question folks up there won't answer even if you beg. Where the heck's the chicken that laid that giant egg? Giants of the prairies rising in the sky. Giants of the prairies designed to catch your eye. They may not be the sort of thing you fancy or you dig, but one look at it and you'll admit that thing is really big. In Camarno, Manitoba, they built a big kumar. It's a really big mosquito, you could see it from afar. Now you may find it strange, a little weird, a bit absurd, till you realize
a mosquito is Manitoba's provincial bird.
Saskatchewan's Kenora, there's a lady mighty fine. She's holding bread and salt, a Ukrainian welcome sign. They thought that giant lady would bring their town some class, till some tourist partners Winnebago underneath her skirt. Giants of the prairies rising in the sky. Giants of the prairies, you just can't pass them by. You could hear the lonely trucker calling from his rig saying,
"Take a look, that thing is really big."
Alberta, they pay homage to our food. They don't call it a Vadanik, but some people think they should. Now I really must admit I felt a little like a dork when they took my picture under a big pierogi on a fork. Pierogi, oh, Glendon's pierogi, whoa. In the town of Vilna, they've got some giant shrooms. Even if you dried them, they'd fill many, many rooms. Now, if you want my opinion, I think you'd need a tanker to truck in enough cream to make a sauce for those bepanka. Giants of the prairies rising in the sky. Giants of the prairies. Now, as the years roll by, in the future, archaeologist working on a dig might shout, "Eureka! Look at what we found! This thing is really big!" In the town of Andrew, they've got a giant duck. They had to rent a crane to lift that mallard off the truck. Now it hasn't generated the reaction they were hoping. The tourists mostly stop and yell, "Giants of the prairies rising in the sky. Giants of the prairies, oh me, oh me, oh my." Now I know folks who just don't care a feather or a fig, but even they have got to say, that thing is really big. Now in Mundare, Alberta, there's a new totemic sign for Ukrainian sausage lovers. It's like a sacred shrine. We bow down low before it. We gaze at it in awe. It's a 14-meter fiberglass and steel kubasa. Giants of the prairies rising in the sky. Giants of the prairies, you've got to wonder why. You think by now the audience we're playing for at this gig would all catch on and sing along. That thing is really big. You'd think by now the audience we're playing to at this gig would all catch on and sing along. That thing is really big. Giants of the prairies rising in the sky. Giants of the prairies, let's raise a glass of rye and congratulate the audience we're playing for at this gig, cause they all caught on and sang along. That thing is really big. Giants of the prairies shining in the sun. Giants of the prairies, I've gotta build me one. A mosquito or a mushroom, a pierogi or an egg. It's a way to leave my mark just like a dog lifting his leg. Giants of the prairies.
And a little bit of a travel guide there for anybody who might be traveling across Canada, Western Canada, looking for some interesting monuments and things to take pictures of. That was the Kubasonics from Edmonton. Actually, they're right now they are in Newfoundland, but that was recorded when they were based in Edmonton a few years back from their second CD. and that song was called Giants of the Prairies. Добрий день, шановні радіослухачі, та вітаю вас всіх на радіопрограму «Наш голос» радіо Українського коріння, яка подається вам сьогодні, так як і кожній середи з 11 до 13 години на хвилі CHLY 101.7 FM у місті Нанаймо. При мікрофоні цю годину є Павліна, а наступну годину буде з вами Оксана. Дякую, що рішили перебути з нами наступних 2 годин. Hello there and welcome to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio, coming to you live today from CHLY 101.7 FM in beautiful downtown Nanaimo. I'm Paulette Demchik-McCory, Pukarinska Pavlina, and I'll be your host for this first hour, and Oksana will be along at 12 noon to host the show in Ukrainian. I'm delighted to have you with us. We've got a great program lined up for you in this first hour. We'll be talking a fair bit about Ukrainian food, and we'll have a little bit of a look at what it was like growing up Soviet with Victor's vignettes. As well, we'll have our usual proverb of the week, other items of interest, and plenty of great Ukrainian music. And coming up next, this is a song about food, and it's a classic. I think probably everyone knows this song by Sluhai from Winnipeg.
Someone stole the kishka, someone stole the kishka, someone stole the kishka from the butcher shop. Who stole the kishka? Who stole the kishka? Who stole the kishka? Someone call the cop. Round and firm and fully back, it was hanging on the rack. Someone stole the kishka when I turned my back. Who stole the kishka? Who stole the kishka? Who stole the kishka? Oh, please bring it back. Zinka and my fine horilka, even take my rubber boots, but give me back my kishka. Who stole the kishka? Who stole the kishka? Who stole the kishka from the butcher shop? Now Willie found the kishka. Willie found the kishka. Willie found the kishka. He hung it on the rack. He found the kishka. He found the kishka. He found the kishka. Willie brought it back. Someone stole the kishka, someone stole the kishka, someone stole the kishka from the butcher shop. Who stole the kishka? Who stole the kishka? Who stole the kishka? Someone call a cop. Now Willie found the kishka. Willie found the kishka. Willie found the kishka. He hung it on the rack. He found the kishka. He found the kishka. He found the kishka. Willie brought it back.
Up next, from the Nash Holos Audio Archives, Ukrainian Food Flair.
Vitaimo and welcome to Ukrainian Food Flair. Onions are used in cooking in practically every country in the world. In Ukraine, where it is called cibulia, onion has long been considered one of the most indispensable vegetable flavorings. Onions come in many varieties, varying in shape, size, weight, color, and pungency. The cause of the onion's strong smell and flavor is a volatile oil, rich in sulfur compounds. Because it causes crying without real cause, in Ukrainian folklore, the Sibuya is a symbol of hypocrisy. She rubbed her eyes with onions, is said about someone who pretends to cry. A tip to remember to avoid tears, which are nonetheless real, peel onions under running water. In the meantime, here's a recipe for onion salad, courtesy Savella's Ukrainian Deli in Winnipeg. This salad is always a pleasant surprise to skeptics who think of onions only in terms of its strong flavor and smell. It's tangy and crunchy and an absolute delight to the taste buds. It's really quite simple. All you do is marinate sliced onions in a sweet and sour brine overnight, then dress it up. For this brine, you will need a half a cup of water, a half a cup of vinegar, 3/4 cups of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Use sweet onion and slice it very thin. A bit of red onion adds nice color. The brine keeps for a long time in the fridge, so you can make the salad in smaller batches if you like. Bring the brine ingredients to a boil to dissolve the sugar. Cool, then pour over onion slices. Allow to marinate for at least 5 hours or overnight. Remove onion from brine and drain well. Toss gently with mayonnaise to taste and sprinkle with celery seeds. Do побачення and smacz noho.
This has been Ukrainian Food Flair from the NH-Nanaimo Audio Archives.
Mexico. I'll never forget her name, though long ago. Conchita Kowalski, how did you get that name? Was your daddy from Poplar Field up in Canada way? Chickai, chickai. Chickai, chickai. Chickai, chickai. Chickai, chickai. Conchita Kowalski, she makes the pierogies too hot. You can't make pierogies in a chili pot. She likes the polka, but in a flamenco way. Conchita Kowalski, I'll never forget her name. Chickai, chickai. Chickai, chickai. Chickai, chickai. Chickai, chickai. Conchita Kowalski doesn't like the foxtrot. But that's what I did when she fed me her chili pot. I played accordion, she played the tambourine. Conchita Kowalski, I'll never forget her name. Ay, chickay, chickay. Ay, chickay, chickay. Ay, chickay, chickay. Ay, chickay, chickay.
And that was Ray St. Germain from Winnipeg with Conchita Kowalski. And that is a song he recorded a little while back, and it made quite a sensation at a First Nations gathering because, of course, Ukrainians and First Nations and Métis have a long history together, and they speak a little bit of Ukrainian, chikai chikai, and ay, which everyone speaks. And before the song, we heard a recipe for onion salad. Came courtesy of Savella's Ukrainian Deli in Winnipeg. And I actually have the owners of the deli sitting in the studio with me right now, my brother Dale Demchuk and his wife Bernie. And they're a little bit shy to come on the phone, so maybe we'll get them, or on the phone, on the mic there. Maybe we'll get them a little bit later on in the show to say a few words if they come out of their shell. But it's wonderful to have them here visiting from Winnipeg. We showed them some of the sights of the island. It's their first time here, and hopefully it won't be the last, and they'll be back again soon. And we've got a little bit of a memory here. Savella's Ukrainian Deli specializes in pierogies, which we heard about from Ray St. Germain, and we hear about a fair bit on this radio station. So I've got a little memory here of the founder of Savella's Ukrainian Deli, who shared memories of pierogies, and I'd like to share that with you as well as with them here on Noshola's Ukrainian Roots Radio in Nanaimo, coming to you on CHLY 101.7 FM. So here is the founder of Savella's Ukrainian Deli talking all about pierogies.
So, did you make pierogies when you were a little kid on the farm?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did you have them often for a meal?
Oh, yeah, a lot. Yeah, because that's almost a meal in itself.
Well, I think for a lot of people it is, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, on the farm, especially in the summertime, there's no fridges, no freezers, no electricity, no nothing. So you have to have food that'll, without meat a lot,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
you
so
have very much meat, yeah.
Uh-huh.
In the summertime, because there was no place to keep it cold.
But pierogies would last for a day or two.
Well, pierogies, we had ice houses.
Ah.
So if we had to keep them, for a day or so, we'd put them in an ice house or down the well, where the cold water was, in a pail or something, and just put it down the well because it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
But, only for about a day or so. That's about it.
Right.
And then, a couple of days later, you make pierogies again.
An ongoing process.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We had them quite often.
So, but this was a sort of a secret, a not very well kept secret that every family had.
Well, I don't know if everybody else did what we did. I mean, my mom she was a pierogi maker. She was good. And I don't know if everybody else did that. I don't know what the neighbors did or anything else. Probably too, but I just don't know.
But you told me that you didn't like other people to know that you were making them.
Well, that's right. My mom didn't because, when they moved into Canada, it was all occupied by English people and French. Well, it all depends where you came, where you got settled. But there was the poor people that came from Ukraine were considered just poor people. So that's why we sort of kept away from everybody. That's what Mom was saying, anyways. But they did get jobs with English. That's how they learned to speak English.
Mm.
My mom, at 13, she was 13 years old when they came over, and there was no. She didn't go to school here because she couldn't speak English, but she worked for English people, and she learned how to speak English.
Mm-hmm.
Just babysitting and cleaning house and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
On the farm, yeah.
And so when she got married and went to the farm,
they settled in Shoal Lake. You know, the government gave them for $1 a quarter section of land.
Wow.
They settled in Shoal Lake, but it was all bush. She said they gave us an axe, a saw, and a hammer, and put us in this bush. All you could see was up. So they had to clear all the bush to build a shack for themselves, and with cut down trees with logs, and then they plastered them with mud, with dirt and water, and that's where they lived for a while.
No fiberglass insulation or cedar shakes.
Are you kidding? Yeah. So, and that's the story she was telling us. I mean, she was only 13, but she still remembers all that. And we just missed her beautiful Ukraine.
Yeah.
She's always talking about it.
But you were born and grew up here, so you had a different life.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So on the farm, what pierogi making was not something that you talked to your neighbors about or let on about?
No. It was all different than it is now. There was not hardly any communication. Sure, neighbors, would visit each other and help each other with something, but there was no communication like there is now. Because everybody was very busy with their farm. Everything was done by hand, not now like machinery and everything, It was different.
No Skype calls.
It's a different life back, it's just 60, 70 years ago.
Yeah, but you were saying that you would, if somebody would come to the door and you were making pierogies, you'd hide them.
Oh, it's not only that. That's what Mom would do. If the dog was barking that somebody was coming and we were making pierogies, she'd hide them, wrap them up in the towel that they were sitting on and put in the cupboard. So nobody would see that we're making pierogies, yeah. I don't know why she felt that way, but that's what she did. And now, you can't make enough of them. People like them.
No kidding, I was up till 2 in the morning making some to bring in today because everybody was asking for pierogies, and I felt bad that I'd come in empty-handed. So, because talk about them so much. So I remember when I was growing up, we often had peta hen. We called them peta hen, not pierogies.
Yeah.
In those days.
Yeah. Some call them varaniki, but like in our, I don't know, there's so many different languages in Ukraine. Different
dialects,
people,
yeah.
And did you call them perohya?
Did you hear the term vareniki when you were growing up?
No.
Yeah,
I think that's Polish maybe or something like that.
No. Actually, what the linguist will tell you is perohya is actually Polish from Polish pierogi, and the proper Ukrainian way. Now, this would be, literary Ukrainian, but the proper word is vareniki because vareniki comes from varete, which means to boil, right? And
yeah. Actually, I don't know all that story.
That's a much more recent story than your story about making them and shoving them in the closet.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's a story for our generation to tell our grandkids. But I do remember when we were. I have a very clear memory. I don't know why. The only time of pierogies is when we were living in Viking, Alberta. Mm-hmm. And you made them often because times were very tough there. We were living in that little house and all crammed into there, and you often made perohya for supper.
That's right. Yeah.
And I would be talking with my junior high friends, and they'd be talking about what they're having for supper. I'm having shepherd's pie, or I'm having pork chops or whatever. And what are you having? Petahe. What's petahe?
Yeah, that's right.
And I felt so like such an odd duck and such an oddball because nobody knew what petahe were.
Yeah.
And then I'd be kind of embarrassed about that. And one time a friend came over, an Irish girl, remember? And she said, "Oh, we're having shepherd's pie. I don't want that. Can I come and have your pitahe?"
Really?
And yeah. At least I think this is a long time ago, so I think that. But I think she came and tasted them and liked them. But I was always embarrassed because it was, nobody knew what it was, and
exactly,
we had them so often.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, people look at me and jaws would drop when I tell that story because how can you not think the pierogies are the biggest treat in the world? So
yeah. Well,
yeah.
like I say, it's such a different world now.
Yeah. Times sure change, and yeah.
And before, when all these German and Ukrainian and Polish immigrants came, there was a lot of discrimination.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So people sort of kept to themselves.
Yeah. I felt it too, actually, growing like that petahe thing, but by that time it was getting a lot better.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it was. And now it's crazy. The pierogies are part of the mainstream Canadian culture.
Oh yeah. Honestly, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. You've often said, if only Mom could see this.
That's right. Yeah, she wouldn't believe. She would be speechless. Honestly, there's different kind of pierogies in the stores and everything, but everybody says that they're not that great. They're no good. So I don't know how they make them. So they're so dull.
Well,
everything's made by machine now, so I guess there's a lot of things. Get along with.
Yeah, exactly. So you miss being at the deli.
I sure do. But then I can't work now. My fingers don't work. Nothing works.
No.
So I can't do anything now.
So now you have stories to share.
Well, and then I think about these stories, and I can't believe what became of all that. From selling a few pierogies out of the garage, and look at now, it's a great big business. Yeah. So, but people.
And all started with pierogies, and what would Baba think if she could see now?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. She wouldn't believe it either. Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting story about pierogies, and here on Vancouver Island, it's I think a lot of people would have no idea of the history of pierogies in Canada. They came from very humble beginnings, very literally speaking, and now they're. I think I've seen pierogi poutine.
Yeah.
I've seen pierogi burgers.
Burgers?
Yeah, a pierogi. Yeah, it was a pierogi burger. I should be taking notes now every time I go into a restaurant and see some pierogi concoction on the menu. But it's pretty pierogi pizza, and then of course all different kinds of pierogies on very many menus over here on Vancouver Island. So, well, that's good, Mom. Thanks so much for sharing the story of pierogies and life on the farm back in the day.
It was different then. Like I keep telling everybody, it's a different world now from when I grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you got the cell phones and the iPads and the iPhones and all this kind of stuff. And oh gosh, we didn't even have. I told to everybody else here, I grew up, didn't even have a phone on the farm. Your cell phone or anything? No, nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's just an absolutely different world now.
Anyways, we still have pierogies around. Doesn't look like they're going to be disappearing anytime soon. So
no, I don't think so.
So thanks for sharing that, Mom, and hopefully we'll see you out here in the island. So say hello to the listeners in Nanaimo and whoever's listening on the internet.
Oh yeah, well, hello everybody.
Say something in Ukrainian. Say.
Well, it's Christos Voskras now.
Okay.
After Easter, it's still.
So Voistino Voskras, and say goodbye in Ukrainian.
Oh, do побачення.
Okay. Дякую.
Yes, hello.
And that was the founder of Svela's Ukrainian Deli in Winnipeg, my mom. And That was, we lost her a year ago in January. And so I just wanted to share that memory with my brother. I didn't think I would break down on the microphone. So he's laughing at me now. That's okay. I'll get another laugh at him later. That was Savala Beck, the founder of Savala's Ukrainian Deli in Winnipeg, with a history of pierogies, or one history anyways. And you're listening to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio on CHLY 101.7 FM in Nanaimo. I'm your host for this hour, Pavlina. Слухайте радіопрограму «Наш голос» радіо українського коріння на радіостанції CHLY 101.7 FM у місті Нанаймо. Говорить Павліна. And speaking of pierogies and Ukrainian grandmothers, here is Connie Calder.
I knew a man who never had any luck at all. He'd go on a date and then he'd wait, patient for her call. But then it seemed his luck had changed, and everywhere he went, he had a woman on his arm, and they looked so content. I asked him what the secret was that made his life so nice. He said, my Ukrainian grandmother gave me some great advice. She said, if you like her pierogies, she'll like your kubasa. Listen up, you little dogies, it's a universal law. 'Cause some like buns, some cabbage rolls, some even like coleslaw. But if you like her pierogies, she'll like your kubasa. Now some men think that all it takes is a fancy car. Some men think that money will make up for who they are. Some men think it's flowers and chocolates and you'll score. But if they listen to their grandmother, they'd all come back for more. 'Cause you can read of Mars and Venus, you can even pass the test. But if you're lucky enough to be Ukrainian, Baba knows best. She says if you like her pierogies, she'll like your kubasa. Listen up, you little doggies, it's a universal law. 'Cause some like buns, some cabbage rolls, some even like coleslaw. But if you like her pierogies, she'll like your kubasa. Everybody now, you like her pierogies, she'll like your kubasa. Listen up, you little doggies, it's a universal law. 'Cause some like buns, some cabbage rolls, some even like coleslaw. But if you like her pierogies, she'll like your kubasa. And of all the advice that you could be taking, you can like them plain sour cream on with bacon, and you like your kubasa.
Girl on his arm, and the next time she saw him, he had another girl, and they're all... And that was Shum from Winnipeg with Ukrainian version of the classic song, who did that? The Champs, Horilka. And the Champs was, of course, Tequila. Well, speaking of washing down, of good beverages to wash down pierogies with, here is a bit of a blast from the past, the Interlake Polka Kings.
Megoyone obedwa Till you blir hombro ajaram och det är mat till att ta fram. Kom jag köra med näpprimal stede battes boros njale takna pöjshone pamjetayu jak ja shi nazywayu ha ha te ja megaljone obydwa ty lubisz hombru a ja rom budem maty lasafon. Ja, megaljone obydwa, ty lubisz hombru a ja rom budem maty lasafon. Shida za višilja, bez červeky bosaka, žinka zadu posovaje, vin šmije še I špivaje. Ha, 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 te I ja, megaljone obydva, ty lubisz hombru a ja rom budem maty lasafon. Nic nie robię, noszę den. Ja je kupił, but you Jim. Żinka robi like crazy again. Ha, ha, ha. Te I ja, megaljone obydwa, ty lubisz hombru a ja rom budem maty lasafon.
Dirim 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 dirim.
Tam mówisz nową sadu, tam solo bejdziesz cię do domu ja prosiłaся, a ty mnie sam nie puskał. She's got it, yeah baby, she's got it, yeah. Ja prosiła, a mnie ty nie puskał, yeah. Ja prosiła, a mnie ty nie puskał. Зійшла з горя, проснеться матінка моя, буде питання була я. She's got it, yeah baby, she's got it, got it, got it, got it. Я просила, а мене ти не пускав. Я просила, а мене ти не пускав. She's got it.
And a popular a cappella group from Ukraine called Pikaridiska Tercia with a Ukrainian remake of that song by Shocking Blue, I think it was, Venus. And it was a fantastic group. They're prolific, they're popular, they've got just tons of albums recorded, and I had the very good fortune to see them back in 2014 live in Lviv, Ukraine. Again, that was Pikaridiska Tercia with Shizada is the Ukrainian name for that. Shizhada, rather, and Venus in English. Well, coming up next, a bit of a change in pace. We've got Millennia from Edmonton, and this is from their third CD called Bratia, and you're going to need to lace up your dancing boots for this one, and for a bit of Ukrainian line dancing, Kume.
Добра горілка, будемо пити аж до понеділка. Складімо з гуми гроші по 40, вип'ємо куми ще й у вівторок. Ой, куми, куми, добра горілка, будемо пити аж до понеділка. Ой, куми, куми, добра горілка. Краща від меду, вип'ємо куми ще й у середу. Подаймо куми в миски то ложки, вип'ємо куми ще й у четверть трошки. Ой, куми, куми, добра горілка, будемо пити аж до понеділка. Ой, куми, куми, добра горілка. П'янецю, покиньмо куми всяку роботу, вип'ємо куми ще й у суботу. Ой, куми, куми, добра горілка, будемо пити аж до понеділка. Ой, куми, куми, добра горілка, ой, куми, кума. Облишмо куми всяку надію, вип'ємо куми ще й у надію. Ой, куми, куми, добра горілка, будемо пити аж до понеділка. Ой, куми, куми, добра горілка, ой, куми, кума. Ой, куми, куми, добра горілка, будемо пити аж до понеділка. Ой, куми, куми, добра горілка, ой, куми, кума. Ой, куми, кума. Ой, куми, кума.
Hello, Dobry Den. My name is Serhii Kaznadi in Toronto, Canada, and I am pleased to narrate Victor's vignettes, stories about life in Soviet and post-Soviet Ukraine. These stories were written by Viktor Sergeyev, who lives in Mykolaiv, Ukraine. Victor worked as freelance technical translator from English, but now has multiple sclerosis, which makes speaking difficult for him. But he finds great joy and a creative outlet in writing and sharing his stories online and here on Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio. You can find Victor's original transcripts along with his commentary at his blog, Vignettes, Life in Ukraine. Links and audio files at nashholos.com. Compulsory steps growing up Soviet. Today, I will share with you the typical Soviet childhood, based on my own life experience. In Soviet times, children went through a very rigid process of indoctrination. There were 3 compulsory steps required of each child in order to grow into a proper Soviet citizen. Children began their studies at the age of 7. The first step was to be admitted to a program called Oktyabriata and become known as one of the so-called October children. The name comes from October, the month in which the Bolshevik Revolution took place. The Ukrainian name for October is Zhovtень. It is derived from the word for gold, the color that leaves begin to turn in this month. To my mind, Zhovteń is a much prettier and more descriptive name. However, Russian was the lingua franca of the Soviet Union, and speaking other ethnic languages, especially Ukrainian, was frowned upon. In some cases, it was actually dangerous. At the beginning of Oktyabriata, we were all presented with a little badge, a red star with a picture of a blond little boy in the center of it. None other than Vladimir Lenin, founder of the Soviet Union. Even then, at such a young age, the program struck me as odd, surreal, like some kind of silly childish game. But it was a game the authorities took very seriously. And it was only the beginning of a lifetime of such surreal games. I will never forget this propaganda nursery rhyme from my kindergarten days. «Я маленькая девочка, играю и пою. Я Ленина не видела, но я его люблю». That was, of course, in Russian. There was no Ukrainian version. Russification was in full force. The English translation goes like this. I am a little girl, playing and singing. I haven't seen Lenin, but I love him. Our teachers at school constantly drilled into us, you must always write the word communist with a capital letter, and the word God with a small letter. What an ironic ideological paradox. Did they see it too? By the age of 10, and provided we studied well, we were admitted to the Young Pioneers. In the early 1920s, the Soviet regime created a pioneer organization modeled on the Western Boy Scouts organization, with the addition, of course, of stringent communist ideology. At this step, we were presented with a red necktie called a Pionersky Galstuk and another badge called Pionersky Znachok. On my blog, you can see a picture with all the 3 badges along with my original transcript. For the next 4 years, we were happy and proud to be part of the Young Pioneers. Apart from the communist indoctrination, it was a fun time, just as I imagine it was for Boy and Girl Scouts in the West. However, our necktie gave away our age. At the age of 14, every teenager wants to look older. So once we left the school grounds, we would hide the necktie. At 16, we were admitted to Komsomol, the youth division of the Communist Party. In actual fact, every teenager in the USSR from the age of 14 automatically became a Komsomol member. Only those who studied poorly or were sent to juvenile prisons did not. Children of very religious parents were also excluded. But we had to pretend we were making a conscious and enthusiastic decision to join Komsomol or not. What a decision it was. Did we want access to officially sponsored holidays? Did we want to pursue higher education? Did we want to get a good job, perhaps one with the privilege of going on business trips? As children, we were well aware that there were no tourist trips at all, even to socialist countries, for any child whose parents were not high-ranking Communist Party officials. So, did we want to live without even the small pleasures, as few and far between as they were, that came with the Communist Party membership? Well, of course, I joined Komsomol. I wanted the best life possible in that wretched system. Now I pray those days never return, and my daughter and her contemporaries will never have to endure the lunacy and absurdity the previous generation did. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Victor's Vignettes, stories from the life of Viktor Sergeyev in Mykolaiv, Ukraine. You can find Viktor's original transcripts and commentary at his blog, Vignettes, Life in Ukraine. For audio archives and links, visit www.nashholos.com. So until next time, do побачення!
Мати зночі куку, за Іванки карі очі куку, та ге, ще казала, буде бити, щоб Іванки не любити, куріку, курку, так. Ще казала, буде бити, щоб Іванки не любити, куріку, курку, так. Тече вода каламутна куку, чим я нині такий смутний куку, та гей, я не смутний, лев сердитий, бо я зночі уявитий, куріку, курку, так. Я не смутний, лев сердитий, бо я зночі уявитий, куріку, курку, так. Мати зночі куку, за Іванки карі очі куку, та гей, ще казала буде бити, щоб Іванки не любити, куріку, кутку, дай. Ще казала буде бити, щоб Іванки не любити, куріку, кутку, дай. Тече вода каламутна куку, чим я нині такий смутний куку, та гей, я не смутий, лем сердитий, бо й зночі буя бити, куріку, кутку, дай. Я не смутий, лем сердитий, бо й зночі буя бити, куріку, кутку, дай.
And Rushnichok from Montreal with a song called Kukuriku, and that is a word that was my brother's favorite word growing up, and so it's kind of been a tradition here on Nash Holos. If the show falls around my brother's birthday, I would play this Kukuriku song, especially for him, and his birthday was yesterday, so happy birthday, Kukuriku Dale. So, yeah. Never did get him to come out of his shell to come on the mic. So, any rate, we're just about done our program. Сьогодні була з вами Павліна. Нагадую, ви слухаєте радіопрограму «Наш голос», радіо нашого коріння. Залишайтеся з нами наступну годину. Далі передаю мікрофону Оксані. Запрошую послухати трохи про історію і традиції розповість Оксана. Але перед тим я хочу залишити вас такими словами мудрості. Хто співає, той і журбу забуває. And our proverb of the week translates as, sing and you will forget your troubles. And that brings us to the end of the first hour of Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio here on CHLY 101.7 FM in Nanaimo. Please stay with us as Oksana takes over the microphone to host the next hour. Meanwhile, please join me here again next Wednesday from 11 a.m. till 12 noon. And until then, do stay in touch with both Oksana and me via our Facebook page and Twitter. In between broadcasts, please visit us online where you'll find transcripts, audio archives, and, of course, the podcast feed. And that is www.nashholos.com. You can also find us on Mixcloud, the CHLY channel. So stay tuned next for the Nash Holos Ukrainian Hour with Oksana, followed by Wellness Wednesday to learn how to be healthy naturally. And at 2 p.m., join Gord Bibby for 2 hours of great oldies on Groovin' with Bibby G. I'm Pavlina. Thanks so much for listening. Do zустрічі.
Заплакала стара дома, що не мала віка вдома. Не плач, стара дома, є бік дома. Бицю, а він мене за спідницю, я до нього волик, а він мене рогом колик. От прийшов я до корови, та зайшов до бика, а корова се сказила, хотіла дати молока. Бо я знаю, що ти хоч, а ти хочеш пирога, мене нині середа. Ой, прийшов я до Андруха, а там баба без кожуха. Ой, прийшов я до Антося, а там баба без волосся. Прийшов я додому, поступив до льохи, а пацієнта се сказали, з'їли мої панчохи. Заплакала стара дова, що не мала віка вдома. Не плач, стара дова, є бік дома.